Hello, my name is Anita Mkanywa. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm a student at Africa University studying international relations, and today we're going to be talking about Agenda 2063 and its challenges and feasibility.
Take your next step towards success and further your education with Africa University, a world-class center of excellence and a higher institution of choice for leadership development in Africa. We are a private Pan-African institution which is home to close to 30 African nationalities. We offer over 50 academic programs from undergraduate studies to PhD programs. Enroll with us for the March and August intakes. Africa University, investing in Africa's future.
Try and understand what Agenda 2063 really is and try to evaluate how Zimbabwe's National Bank is working towards the vision.
Guys, we are almost graduating. What does the future hold for us African youth?
After graduating from college, is securing a job certain?
I want to further my education. Why shouldn't I leave this country to seek other opportunities?
As an aspiring fashion designer who would like to trade in textile all over Africa, how do I get funding for my business?
Trade? Are we even sure of economic stability? As for me, I just want to expand our family farm and set up a food processing company. But how can I easily transport and sell my goods to other African countries?
Have you not heard of Agenda 2063?
What is Agenda 2063?
Agenda 2063 is the master plan for transforming Africa into a global powerhouse of the future by the year 2063 and ensuring that Africa's development is driven by investments that are sustainable and benefits all people, and that development activities will promote unity, self-determination, freedom, progress and collective prosperity pursued under the ideals of Pan-Africanism and the vision of Africa's Renaissance. Do you know Agenda 2063 aims to increase investment in key infrastructure, improved agricultural practices and better management of our natural resources, as well as access to quality health and education to enable Africans to unlock their full potential? And with a well-educated society and empowered people, our communities will thrive as Africans actively participate in decision-making to promote good governance, democracy, respect for human rights, and the right to live in stable and peaceful societies. And a peaceful and secure Africa will provide the right environment we desire for growth and development, productive employment and decent work for all. We can build more world-class infrastructure, sustain industrialization and foster innovation as we invest in the blue ocean economy, agriculture, advanced technology, transportation, health, renewable energy, commerce and finance, and even outer space technology, translating into a better standard and quality of living for all African people. The Agenda 2063 promotes a united Africa with a strong cultural identity, common heritage, values and ethics. Agenda 2063 will enable Africa to position itself as a strong, united, resilient and influential global player.
Wow, that is the Africa I want.
That is the Africa I want.
That is the Africa I want.
That is the Africa I want. That is the Africa I want.
This is the Africa we want.
Let us unite to build the Africa we want. Visit www.au.int to learn more about Agenda 2063.
So Agenda 2063 is the African Union's plan to make Africa a global powerhouse and the desire for a unified version of Africa. Its main pillars being a prosperous Africa based on inclusive growth and sustainable development, an integrated continent, politically united based on the ideals of Pan-Africanism and the vision of African Renaissance. An Africa of good governance, democracy, respect for human rights, justice, and rule of law. A peaceful and secure Africa, an Africa whose development is people-driven, relying on the potential of African people, especially its women, youth, and children. And lastly, an Africa as a strong, unified, and resilient and influential global player. Its important flagship projects include the African Continental Free Trade Area (AfCFTA), which aims to establish a single market for goods and services across 54 nations, allowing for free movement of business travelers and investments, and create a unified customs union to streamline trade on the continent. The high-speed rail network is also another example, as well as the single African air transport market, and so on. So what are the challenges faced by the agenda?
Your idea of Africa's future looks murky. Let's clear things up with Agenda 2063. Agenda 2063 is Africa's master plan for transforming the continent into a global powerhouse by 2063. But every grand plan comes with its hurdles. Challenge 1, infrastructure. Many regions still lack roads, schools and hospitals. Solution, invest in local projects and foster public-private partnerships. Challenge 2, education. Too many children are out of school. Solution, boost funding and support innovative teaching methods. Challenge 3, governance. Corruption drags progress. Solution, strengthen institutions and promote transparency. Challenge 4, climate change. It's a global issue with local impacts. Solution, adopt green technologies and sustainable practices. Despite these challenges, the vision is clear: a prosperous, united and peaceful Africa. Together, we can overcome these obstacles and achieve Agenda 2063.
So what are the challenges faced by the agenda? The agenda has been labeled as an ambitious and idealistic desire by the African Union as a result of African governance and political instability, meaning that corruption, political instability, and weak institutions are hindering the possibility to achieve this. They erode trust in institutions, divert resources, and discourage investment, leading to the disruption of development efforts and create humanitarian crisis. We also have economic challenges. We see many African economies relying heavily on raw exports, making them vulnerable to global price fluctuations, and insufficient industrialization leads to limited manufacturing capacity, hindering value addition and job creation. Deficiencies also in education, healthcare, and skills development also limit productivity and innovation. Now, let's relate it to Zimbabwe, looking at the role of the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe and how it plays a role in achieving Agenda 2063. So the agenda emphasizes inclusive and sustainable economic growth. The RBZ's core functions, such as maintaining price stability, managing the exchange rate, and regulating the financial sector, are essential for creating a stable macroeconomic environment conducive to growth. By implementing sound monetary policies, the Reserve Bank aims to foster investment, create jobs, and reduce poverty, all of which are key objectives of the agenda. The Agenda 2063 promotes financial inclusion as a means of empowering individuals and businesses. The RBZ plays a vital role in promoting financial inclusion through initiatives such as encouraging the use of digital financial services, expanding access to banking services in rural areas, and supporting the development of microfinance institutions. The Reserve Bank also works in conjunction with the National Development Plans of Zimbabwe, which in turn are being aligned to Agenda 2063. Therefore, it's safe to say that RBZ has a role to play in the achievement of national goals, which are in line with continental goals.
Under the National Financial Inclusion Strategy are women as a group, a marginalized group, the youth. We know the story of the youth. So, but we know amongst the youth probably half or more of them are young girls who are again women. That's why I'm saying it's really a women's empowerment program. Then we are also targeting micro, small and medium enterprises. And all the surveys of this nation tell us that within the micro, small and medium enterprises, the majority of them are owned by women. So even if one goes as a micro, small and medium enterprise, you are accessing funds again as a woman. We also said we are targeting rural populations. More than 70% of our population are in rural areas. And we know the majority of them are women. So if we put formal finance there, both in agriculture and non-agricultural activities, we are capturing women and empowering women. The other group we are targeting is people with disabilities. There are many of them who can actually fend for themselves. And we are saying, or else if they are disabled such that they cannot work for themselves, somebody is doing something to look after them. So those funds can also be given to their caregivers. And again, even if you go to that group, we have many women living with a disability. So to me, when we look at all these marginalized groups, we are going to capture women, and we are capturing women. The program is exciting.
Okay, so from what we've learned in the video, we're now going to be looking at the last part of this YouTube video. So we're going to be looking at whether Agenda 2063 is idealistic or if it's achievable. So the question of whether Agenda 2063 is idealistic or achievable is very complex, and there's no single or definitive answer. So it's more accurate to say that it contains elements of both. But before we start breaking it down, we're going to look at the basics of what we've covered. So Agenda 2063 is Africa's 50-year plan for a prosperous, integrated and peaceful continent. While widely supported as a vital vision, concerns exist regarding its implementation, equitable distribution of benefits and citizen engagement. Success hinges on strong leadership, effective execution, and aligning national plans with the continental agenda. So now we're going to be looking at the arguments for idealism and arguments for if it can be achieved. So from what we've learned in the video, we're now going to be looking at the last part of this YouTube video. So we're going to be looking at whether Agenda 2063 is idealistic or if it's achievable. So the question of whether Agenda 2063 is idealistic or achievable is very complex, and there's no single or definitive answer. So it's more accurate to say that it contains elements of both. But before we start breaking it down, we're going to look at the basics of what we've covered. So Agenda 2063 is Africa's 50-year plan for a prosperous, integrated and peaceful continent. While widely supported as a vital vision, concerning at the last point under whether Agenda 2063 is an idealistic goal, we're going to look at the varied implementation. So achieving uniformity against 55 different, diverse African Union member states is a huge challenge, with their different levels of development, political will, and resources, which tends to create complexities